So, we went to the Michigan GT.
We did.
That was a thing. We,
had an uncomfortably, heart-stopping moment at the border.
Oh my God.
Go to the Michigan GT.
We crossed the border and the border guard was like, "I'm sorry, sir, you're not allowed to enter the U.S." And we're like, "What?"
My heart stopped. And context, I was wearing my Star Wars Boba Fett hoodie.
And the border guard was like, "We don't allow bounty hunters into America." Which I was like, reality television has told me otherwise. But I didn't say anything because I was still, having a minor heart attack in the passenger seat of the car. So, yeah, that was a thing. But we got there, and it was, way bigger than I thought. I don't know. I feel like I haven't been to, focused tournament events other than really Adepticon in such a long time.
Well,
small events in the store and small tournaments we've done hosted by stores.
Yeah.
This year, but we haven't really done
I've been crammed into a ton of stores like sardines.
Mm-hmm.
And again, because it's a store, it's capped off at an attendance at the low 20s at best. At best, you're going to get that many people in the store. And then on the flip side of things, you've done Origins and Gen Con and Adepticon. So it's just when we go to non-store events, they're in the thousands of people.
And it's totally overwhelming in a totally different way.
Yeah, absolutely.
Going to a focused, miniature wargaming tournament, all kind of held in the same ballroom, and multiple games and systems being played, yes, but still, it was just it was really exciting. It kind of brought me back to, good old days, old conflict days.
Well, I was going to say, it's literally the kind of event that we started at. The old, Canadian Games Workshop Grand Tournaments, which then bred the conflict system, and they were all kind of the same thing, where you have this big, almost wedding reception-y sized ballroom.
The chandeliers. I wish I had taken a picture of the chandeliers of the Michigan GT, because it was a classy affair.
It was absolutely a classy affair, and then there's all these, utility-kilts and cargo shorts, and, the gamer uniform.
It was really warm in there, though, so, I understand, dude, why people were wearing shorts.
Listen,
in October.
I was so hot because I made the mistake of wearing pants that even I was just like, man, I gotta buy me a utility kilt for these events.
Oh man, dude. Anyways, we went. I didn't know what to expect, and it was an amazing event. We went to play Dark Age.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's fine, show off your minis. Well, I'll do a pan of the minis. I'll overlay it here, satisfy your ego, Nathan.
No, I'm just merely pointing out that we frame our sets, and I'm sure it's a detail that goes unnoticed.
Oh, everyone notices everything. Everyone notices everything in the background. But anyways, we went and I know I had a great time. I played 5 games in the tournament like you.
Yep.
And then I also played Brian, of Simon. At the end of the day, we did a stream on Facebook. We did a Facebook Live game. I'm going to link that down below if you actually want to watch it. I went in with my Forsaken Mary list. It was a 500-point event. So of the 5 games, I had my built list and my reinforcement sideboard. On my sideboard, I had 2 Clergians. And in my main list, I had Deacon, Judah, 3 Banes, well, technically 2 Banes and a Bane leader, 3 Flens, and and a medic. That's what it was. And it was, I figured out how to make that list work, and I figured out how to make, the Clergians work. Everything seemed to click for me at that event, which was great. It was really, it was a nice way for me to, get to know my list, and it was an interesting merry list.
Anyway, my list was, I went for an all non-living, no panic kind of build because I got hosed by it at my previous Dark Age event where just everything panicked and it was terrible.
Oh.
So I took, I had the Cobracon, I had 2 Chinook, I had 2 Honored Dead, and because that adds up to 475, I had 1 lowly little 25-point Harvester rounding me out. My reinforcement sideboard was Ixchel, the Moon Goddess, just in case I ran into a hardcore gun line and needed to shut them off.
I started playing the list kind of in the second game, actually. around the idea of creating I like to call it a walnut, where I have like this shell on the outside and there's meat in the inside, and even the meat is a pain to pick out of the frickin' shell when you crack it. So basically I just move everything forward 3 inches or so, and everything around the medic just goes on hold. And I just wait. And then next turn it just does the same thing. And it kind of plods across the board. Mm-hmm. And then when I want it to click, everything clicks. I pull the trigger and I'll do big group activation. I'll squad link 5 models.
Yeah, I mean, basically you've built your list to play 40k for a turn. Like, this is an alternating activation game, and you've designed this gigantic 6-man squad style activation.
It's 5 on Judah. Without Mary, it's only 5.
5 or 6, depending on the size of game. And it works very well for you, because I won't say it exploits core game rules, because squad linking is a part of the game.
It's one of the things that makes
it's very, like, it's unusual, and it's hard to counter when you will activate 600 of your 750 points in one go, and I don't have an opportunity to react to that. I can't move, I can't shift, I can't bring in my own reinforcements, and so it is a very potent thing, but the trade-off to that is you're then letting me play solitaire for the rest of that turn.
You basically get the same thing, sort of. But the design of that particular list is, there are so many synergies involved in that one activation that there's a lot happening and everything is helping each other, and I think that's like very teamworky, which is kind of the goal of that whole build. And so I think what I did and what I got out of the event as a player playing this particular list is I finally understood how squad linking and how going on hold click together, because those are the things that makes Dark Age very different than other miniature war games. It is the thing that really mechanically makes it special. Because basically every other miniature game like this one, you move models, you roll dice, combat, blah, blah, blah. So those are the elements that make this different. Mm-hmm. And I finally got to make it work with a list that I was familiar enough to do that with. So that was like my personal victory. And, it kind of, I was able to win games, which was great. Like that was like a nice boon. And so yeah, I went 3-3 on the day, including my win against Brian. And you did pretty well too. You won 3 games too, and you were on top table at one point.
I won 3 games in a row by literally derping my way to victory. Like, you don't for a second think that this was tactical brilliance or anything. There was so much dumb luck involved. Because basically what ended up happening in my very first game against Dave Taylor, it was Cabracon, who had, I think, 1 wound on him at the time, in melee with his warhead, and these were the only 2 models alive. Now, at this point, I think I was up 7-2. We roll the initiative, he wins. So, at this point, we both know that if he kills Cabracon with his going first, because it's not like he's going to be like, I'll pass. There's enough lingering effects phases in the secondary objective cards that this would be a tie 7-7. So his first attack puts a wound on me. Because, of course, even though it's no extreme damage or anything, and he knocks me down. Oh. He then puts 2 wounds on me because I failed to save it. Then he missed, needing an 18 to hit. Oh! And then he hit me and wounded me again for 2 wounds. So it literally came down to, if he had not missed, he's going to do it. It's a tie. Mm-hmm. Instead, I stand up and I just clobbered the rest of the warhead. So I end up winning 10-2. Great. Second game, I felt really good about. Played the scenario perfectly. Everything kind of came up my way. But again, even in my third game, the game ended when I hit the 10-point mark, where Tuchanok was the only model I had left on the board, riding 2 wounds, and he was down to a single weaponsmith, because when Isaac double flamered me, keeping in mind that he was out of superior maintenance tokens, he rolled a 19 and a 20. So he essentially exploded himself, and again, without that dumb luck, he absolutely kills Tuchinok, and he pulls that game out of the win column. So I did go 3-2. I won my first 3 games, ended up on top table, which is never a place I belong. Kind of ever in any game. If I'm on top table, I know that it's going to be a rocky ride back down to where I belong. And then I lost my next 2 games in quite spectacular fashion.
It's one of those things, though, right? Where it's just like, yeah, by the end of the day, you're kind of where you belong, and the games are great, and like that's kind of the ideal. But like, I was shocked in the end. Just first of all, by the tables. The tables were insane. The tournament organizer, Ryan, did an amazing job.
Yeah, all of the tables, all the scenery were fantastic. Each of them were themed, and then each table also had a specific MTI scenario in it. So there were 10 different tables, actually technically 11, because he built like sort of tunnel corridor, kind of like inside a spaceship, although he said it's inside one of like the factories that were left over, is what he did. But he wasn't sure if people would like it, so he had a standby table to the right of it. In that way, if you had to do it, and you didn't like that setup, you could play on a more standard board.
I don't think anyone ever did.
No one did. Everyone played on that corridor table because it's just so cool.
And it was such like, I don't think anyone walked away from that table thinking that was a terrible table for us.
Yeah, no,
it was perfect.
I played it game 1 and had a blast.
It was a great table.
And again, like to go to the level of detail that he did on the Ancient and Bloody Wastelands one, where it says, hey, these are where your objectives go, and they'll have the Xenosathic rule. He made special Xenosathic crystal objectives for the Capture the Caravan. He had the Warsenal Caravan built and painted up, set right there on that table. So everything was there. Even on Build the Tower, he had a gigantic tower on top of the Blast 3 marker that goes there, and each of the small ones were these little power cell things. So like the level of detail was fantastic.
It was very thoughtful. It was very well put together. The amount of effort put in by the organizer Ryan was just, it was out of this world. And then at the end, if I was thinking, I would have taken a picture of the prize table. Everyone walked away with something, including like, okay, so you showed up and you got like a pack of Dark Age like templates. Like, these are really ridiculously nice too.
They are colored hard plastic.
Yeah, with, like, they're solid and beautiful.
With some etching
every
detailing
player got
on it.
One of those.
Every single player. In fact, not only did every single player get them, when our daughter was like, I have a St. John list, he's like, oh, really? Do you want some templates too? And we're like, oh my god, that's amazing. She obviously wasn't playing because she's 8 and doesn't quite have the patience to play a 10-hour
tournament
day of tournament games.
You barely do. I barely do.
Oh my god, I was so surly and hangry by my last game. Like, I'm just like, let's just get... Like, they announced pairings, and I was told by the organizer, because I was still 3-1 at this point, they're like, okay, there's only one player who's undefeated. If that player loses in the last game, the winner of this table, along with the 2 players of that table, will all be 4-1 at that point. So everyone's in contention. Yeah. And he said this to me, and I was so tired and hangry that I wanted to just be like, I concede, I'm getting dinner. Like,
but it was still a really fun event.
Oh, it was fantastic.
And I think that was one of the things that I was able to really walk away from, is just being able to play all of these scenarios, playing on beautiful terrain, painted, gorgeous boards, very immersively, very thematic. It was just delightful. It was a really delightful event. And we're totally going next year again. Like, yeah, absolutely, 100%.
You know, we had so much fun this year at the Dark Age event that not only are we absolutely going to be there again next year, we're even going to start looking at other games that the Michigan GT has. Because I know that when we initially looked at the schedule of events this year, we knew Dark Age was going to be our event. And then there were, because
what else is being played?
It's Thanksgiving weekend here in Canada. So we didn't want to do anything on the Sunday because, hey, that's Thanksgiving, that's, dinners and family and all that. And because we had work on Friday, we were kind of like, we'll just do a day trip. And driving back, we kind of regretted doing that. We kind of regretted that choice. So I know that we're definitely going to look at doing more events.
Doing Dark Age again for sure. Ryan said he's been roped into running it again, so he's gonna do it again, and I'm totally gonna play in that event. And then looking at other games as well. So I'm really excited to like just for next year. Like there's an event nearby that is like big, but not too big. Like that's
not overwhelmingly
large,
big, and that's
which is really cool. And I'm so stoked. I'm so stoked. I'm gonna end this video by saying thank you to Michigan GT for having us out. Thanks to Ryan who ran the event. Thanks to Brian for playing me and rolling so poorly that that I was able to pull it out and win. It was a great time all around.
There is nothing like watching a model try to shadow walk through terrain only to mal and then roll a 20 on their armor save and just poof.
Oh my
You're
God.
now part of it. You teleported into the rock. You just don't exist anymore.
I mean, I kind of want to write a tactica on Dark Age that's just basically
don't roll 20s.
Don't roll 20s. There you go. This is how you win. You win. Roll lots of ones and no
that's
20s.
Not how you win. That's how you don't lose.
That's how you don't lose. Okay, fair enough. That is us. We're gonna be doing a lot more videos. We've got so much stuff. There's it is like early Christmas. All the mini wargaming stuff is coming out. There's so much stuff that we're going to be talking about in the future. So stay tuned, and until next time, I'll see you soon.
Cheers.